Have you heard of UAD version 3.6? Starting November 2026, appraisals are changing forever. If you're selling your home or you have a home on the market, you need to understand this right now because this change could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're not prepared.
You believe God is a woman.
This is not a small change. This is not a tweak to a form. This is a completely new appraisal system going into effect nationwide on November 2nd of 2026. I'm Lourdes Maestres, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's changing, why it matters, and what you can do right now to protect the value of your home. Right now, appraisals are still somewhat subjective. What I mean by that is there's room for interpretation, there's room for storytelling. A good appraiser can look at your home, understand the upgrades, and use their professional judgment to support a value. It's kind of like an art, and that art is going away. The new system called UAD 3.6 is turning appraisals into data-driven reports, not opinions, not stories, just data. Think of it this way. Right now, an appraiser can say,
"This home has been beautifully maintained. The owners clearly care about every single detail, and the kitchen remodel is exceptional."
That kind of language, that human judgment, has always had value in a report. But under the UAD 3.6, that language will disappear. What replaces it? A structure, a data field, a code, a category, a number. Either the data supports the value or it doesn't. This is a massive shift for homeowners, and most people have no idea it's coming. Let me break this down so it actually makes sense. UAD stands for Uniform Appraisal Dataset. It's a standardized system that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the two entities that back the majority of the mortgages in this country, they use that to collect appraisal data. The appraisers have been filling out these forms for years. Long documents with checkboxes, narratives, comparables, but version 3.6 replaces those forms with something entirely different. Instead of a form, appraisers are now submitting a structured data file. Think of it like a digital blueprint of your home. Every detail categorized, standardized, and a machine-readable: conditions, upgrades, layout, room count, finish qualities. Everything now lives in a structured data format that can be read and scored by a computer. And here's a key word: standardized. That means an appraiser in Fort Lauderdale is entering the same categories in the same format as an appraiser in Seattle or Chicago or Dallas. There's no more appraiser knows my neighborhood. It all gets funneled into the same system. And that system, that database, is being designed to feed data directly into AI, valuation models. The industry is getting ready for artificial intelligence to help determine the value of your home. And it will not care about your story. Let me give you an example of how this plays out. Let's say you spend $150,000 on a kitchen renovation. Custom cabinets, high-end appliances, quartzite countertop, the whole thing. It looks incredible. But here's the problem. You live in a neighborhood where buyers expect kitchens in the $40,000 to $60,000 range. And that's what the comparables are going to show. That's what the market supports. Under the old system, a skilled appraiser might have found a way to work with you to justify a bigger adjustment, to explain in a narrative how exceptional your kitchen is. Under UAD 3.6, the data is the data. If the comparables don't support it, the system won't give you credit for it. You cannot over-improve your home to a higher appraisal in a market that won't support it. If you do it anyways, do it because you're going to enjoy it, not because it's going to pay you back at resale. Here's another scenario, and this one surprises a lot of people. Let's say you replace your countertops, beautiful new quartzite, but you keep the original cabinets, which a lot of people do that here in Fort Lauderdale. They're fine, still in decent shape, but now your kitchen is inconsistent. New countertops, old cabinets. Under the new standardized data fields, appraisers may not give you credit for that partial renovation because the kitchen as a whole doesn't meet the threshold for a full renovation. It's in the middle ground, And middle ground doesn't score well in a standardized system. This is why documentation matters more than ever. Every upgrade that you do, every improvement, every receipt, every material, you need a paper trail that your real estate agent can put in front of an appraiser and say, here is exactly what was done, here's what it cost, and here is why it adds value. My recommendation to you is make sure you have all your receipts organized and you can provide them the moment your home goes on the market. If you don't have the documentation, you're leaving money on the table, period. And this is exactly the kind of thing I help homeowners get ahead of, well before they ever put a home on the market. If you're in Fort Lauderdale or anywhere in South Florida and you want help getting your documentation organized before this new system takes effect, reach out to me. I would love to walk you through it with you. I want to talk about something that's a little uncomfortable. This new system isn't designed for humans. It's designed for computers. The way appraisers are now required to enter the data, the structure, the categories, the standardized fields, it's all built so a machine can process it, compare it, score it, and feed it into an algorithm. We're moving toward a world where AI plays a much larger role in determining what your home is worth. And I know some of you are thinking, well, that sounds great. AI is smart. Maybe it'll be fair. Maybe. But here's the thing about AI valuation models. They're built on data, and data doesn't know that you put your heart into this home. Data doesn't know that you repainted every single room by hand. Data doesn't know that your neighborhood has been quietly improving for the last 2 years. Data knows what comparable properties sold for. Data knows what your finishes are coded as. Data knows what condition category your home falls into. And if your data doesn't tell a good story, if your finishes aren't documented, if your condition is inconsistent, if your upgrades don't align with the neighborhood, the AI isn't going to give you the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't have doubt. It has an algorithm. This isn't the future. This is November 2nd of 2026. It's happening right now. So the question is, are you going to be ready? Let's talk about what you can actually do. I have 4 things every homeowner needs to do before November of 2026. If you're planning on selling your home, honestly, you should be doing these things right now, and some of you probably already are, regardless of when you plan to sell. Number 1, give your real estate agent all the documentation. I'm talking about every single improvement that you have made to this home. Not just, I redid the kitchen, I mean the receipts, the contractor, the invoices, the material brands, the dates, the permits. If you replace the roof, I need a receipt and the permit. Some of that stuff is public information in Fort Lauderdale. If you upgraded your air conditioning, I need to know the brand, the SEER rating, and the date it was installed. If you put in impact windows, I need to know the permits and the cost. Why? Because under the UAD 3.6, the appraiser needs to justify every adjustment with structured data. If they can't document it, they can't give you credit for it. Your documentation is your evidence. Your receipts are your money. Number 2, make sure your real estate agent is present during the appraisal. This is non-negotiable for me. When an appraiser walks through your home, they're forming an impression and entering data. If they get something wrong, if they misidentify the quality of your finishes or miss an upgrade or code something incorrectly, that error goes into a report. And it's very hard to fix after the fact. Your real estate agent should be there with a list of features and ready to say, actually, those are custom European cabinets, not builder grade, for example. Let me show you the documentation. Your real estate agent should be defending your value in that room at that moment. The appraisal is no longer just a box to check. It's a negotiation, and your agent needs to be in that room. Before I get into the last 2, if you're finding this video helpful, do me a big favor and hit subscribe. I cover real estate strategies and market shifts like this every single week, and this is exactly the kind of thing that you want to know before it affects you, not after. Number 3. Include in your contract that the buyer must order the appraisal quickly. Here in my market, an appraisal can be done within 7 to 10 days. Here's something most homeowners don't think about. Under the UAD 3.6, appraisers are going to have a learning curve, especially those experienced ones. This is a completely new system with new data requirements. Reports are going to take longer. Think about a typical timeline from a contract to close. You get fully executed contract, then you go through inspections, which usually runs anything between 5 to 7 days or maybe 15 days, most of the time. Then the lender doesn't even order the appraisal until inspections are done. So now you're 2 weeks in, and if the appraiser needs extra time because of the new requirements, or they don't know the system yet, they're just learning, or they're backlogged, a 30-day timeline can suddenly become 45 to 50 days. So what do? You negotiate it into the contract. If the buyer is highly motivated, they may agree to order the appraisal within the first few days of a fully executed contract instead of waiting, and maybe even pay a rush fee, even before the inspections. If you don't build this into your contract from the beginning, you could find yourself extending closing timelines you never expected. Plan for it now. Number 4, have your real estate agent create a detailed features list, and I mean detailed. When I walk through a home, it takes me a few hours to make sure I don't miss anything. And that's what exactly goes into that list. Here's a mindset shift that I think is really important. For years, real estate agents have been selling homes to buyers. We write descriptions, we stage homes, we do open houses, all of it designed to attract a buyer who falls in love with a property. Under UAD 3.6, your real estate agent also needs to sell the home to the appraiser. That features list isn't just marketing. It's a document that goes in front of the appraiser and says, here's everything that makes this property exceptional. The specific upgrades, the brands, the quality levels, the cost, the permits, and here's why this home deserves this value. The agent has to make the case in writing with data, backed by documentation, to a system that's increasingly data-driven. If your agent doesn't do this, you're walking into an appraisal blind. I want to say something that may upset some people. Are you ready? UAD 3.6 is going to expose real estate agents who don't tell homeowners the truth about price. In this industry, there's a practice where an agent tells a homeowner what they want to hear. The agent will give the seller an inflated price estimate just to get the agreement signed. And then the home sits, and eventually the price gets reduced or it never sells. That practice has always been a problem in our industry. But under the new appraisal system, it's going to become very visible, because when an overpriced home goes on the contract and the appraisal comes in low, and it will, because the data doesn't support the price, the deal falls apart. The buyer's financing fails, the deal dies, and the homeowner is left wondering why their agent didn't tell them this before they listed. In my opinion, and I say this proudly, this new requirement is going to expose agents who don't know what they're doing. It's going to force homeowners who've been living in fantasy land about their home value to face the reality of what the market will actually pay. And I think that's a good thing. Real estate has always been partly about relationships, partly about storytelling, and partly about market knowledge. UAD 3.6 is raising the stakes on that last piece, market knowledge. You need an agent who knows the data, who can read a comparable report, who will tell you the truth even when the truth is hard to hear. Because here's the thing, an agent who tells you a fantasized number and lets your home sit on the market for 90 or 120 days is not doing you a favor. An agent who tells you the accurate market value and gets your home sold within 30 days with a clean appraisal, that agent is actually serving you. Let me give you a little bit more detail on how to think about preparation. If you're thinking about selling your home in 2026, whether that's before November or after, you need to start gathering this documentation right now. Go through your records. Find every receipt for every improvement you've made since you purchased the home. The roof, the air conditioning, the impact windows, the flooring, the kitchen and bathroom cabinets, pools, equipment, landscaping, security system, smart home technology, everything. Create a folder, a physical or a digital version, and put it all in there. I like the Google Drive link. It's perfect. Easy to share with clients. Put all the permits and receipts before and after photos if you have them, any warranty documents, the materials, the brands, and the model numbers. And when you meet with your real estate agent, and I hope that agent is someone who's going to tell you the truth, you hand them over that folder, and that folder is your evidence file. It's the foundation of your appraisal defense strategy. The other thing I want you to think about is consistency. Remember what I said about the partial kitchen renovation. The system doesn't reward half-finished work. So if you're going to do an upgrade before you put your home on the market, think about whether that upgrade is cohesive. Are you finishing what you started? Does the result look intentional and complete? A partial renovation with excellent documentation is better than a full renovation with no paper trail. But a complete documented renovation in the right price range for your neighborhood is the ideal scenario. Talk to your real estate agent before you start any project. Ask them, if I spend $10,000 on this upgrade, will I see the money in the appraisal value? That's a question your agent should be able to answer with data. I want to take a moment to talk to the buyers who might be watching this. UAD 3.6 actually has some real benefits for you. The new standardized data system is designed to create more consistency and accuracy in appraisal process. In theory, you should see fewer appraisals inflated by emotion or relationship. The data should be the data, but here's what you need to understand as a buyer. The appraisal time may be longer. Appraisers are learning a brand new system, and there will be a period of adjustment. If you are in a competitive bidding situation and you need to close quickly, that timeline under the UAD 3.6 could create complications for you. So work with your real estate agent to understand the realistic timeline. And if the home you're purchasing is one you truly want, consider an offering to pay a rush fee to get the appraisal order immediately. The cost of a rush fee is almost always less than the cost of losing a home that you love. Also, and this is important, if the appraisal comes in lower under the new system, understand this may actually be the most accurate picture of what the home is worth that we've ever had. Use that information wisely in your negotiations. I want to talk specifically about what this means for our market here in the city of Fort Lauderdale or in South Florida. Real estate has always been a unique market. We have everything from waterfront estates to mid-century ranches to new construction high-rises, sometimes within a few blocks of each other. Comparable sales, what appraisers call comps, can be genuinely difficult to identify here. Because the variety is so high under the old appraisal system, a skilled appraiser who knew Fort Lauderdale could navigate that complexity with a narrative and judgment. But under the UAD 3.6, the standardized data fields have to do the work. That means if you're a homeowner in a neighborhood with limited comparables, or if your home is truly one of a kind, the data challenge is real. There may not be enough comparables in the system to fully support your value. And this is exactly why your real estate agent's preparation work is so critical in our market. The features list, the documentation, the presence at the appraisal, these things matter more here, not less. I've been working in this market for years. I know these neighborhoods. I know the comparables, and I know how to build a case for your home value in a way that holds up. Whether that's to a traditional appraiser or to an AI-driven system, if you're in Fort Lauderdale and you're thinking about selling, I want to have that conversation with you before you list your home, before you start any renovations, so we can make sure every decision you make supports the highest possible appraised value. The bottom line is this: the appraisal world is changing. It's moving from storytelling to data, from subjective to standardized, from human judgment to machine-readable fields that feed AI algorithm. And homeowners who aren't prepared for that change are going to get hurt. They're going to be shocked when their appraisal comes in lower than they expected. They're going to be frustrated when their real estate agent can't explain why. They're going to lose deals, and in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars, because they didn't know what was coming. You don't have to be one of those people. Start gathering your documentation now. Think strategically about any upgrades before you make any investment. Find a real estate agent who knows your market, who tells you the truth, and who will show up at that appraisal ready to fight for your home's value. Some of you may know that I've built a network of real estate agents around the country who share my philosophy, people who lead with honesty, who know their market deeply, and who will have this exact same conversation with you. So if you're thinking about selling, whether you're in Fort Lauderdale or anywhere around the world, reach out to me. The link is in the description below, and I will personally connect you with someone I trust. If you are in Fort Lauderdale or anywhere in South Florida, send me a text or give me a call. Let's set up a time to sit down together and talk through your specific situation and make sure that you are positioned correctly before November 2nd of 2026. UAD 3.6 is coming. The question is, when it arrives, will you be ready? Before you go, tell me in the comments, have you already started pulling together your renovation receipts and permits? Or is this the first time you're hearing about UAD 3.6? Drop a comment below. I read every single one of them, and I want to know where you're starting from. I'm Lourdes Maestres, and I will talk to you soon. Subscribe to my channel. Every week, I share real estate strategies and real market insights so you can sell your home for top dollar in this market.